West here, reporting from Houston, Texas for Climate Desk. Now, one of the biggest uncertainties in climate science right now is the role of clouds. What better way to work that part out than flying right through them? That's what NASA scientists aboard this airplane think. Welcome to NASA's biggest airborne laboratory. You're coming with us today on an 8-hour NASA flight mission.
When you read these big IPCC climate assessments, what's the biggest uncertainty? There's two, right? The role of aerosols and clouds. Clouds is probably bigger than aerosols.
That is a piece of a puzzle that right now we are missing.
You can't get the models right if you don't understand the chemistry and the process.
Now we're being told we've got to get on. The doors are about to shut, so let's go aboard. Every time you turn on the weather, every time you hear a climate change prediction, that information has to come from somewhere. And it starts by getting sucked out of the air from planes like this.
So this mission is to particularly try to understand the emissions from the surface, so mostly biogenic emissions, so from trees and other plants.
Right now we're flying to our very first part of this experiment on the DC-8. Over Arkansas, there's a particularly pungent bouquet of emissions that scientists are interested in measuring.
Well, these emissions lead to both aerosols and to molecules that both destroy and create ozone. So these are very important things to understand for climate studies.
How it will manifest itself, it will be in more accurate and more reliable predictions.
So what we're doing is taking a series of flyovers, each at a different level of the atmosphere, scooping up those emissions, testing them, and hopefully scientists are going to see exactly what's in this column of air all the way up.
The data that we collect in one flight can keep busy 60 scientists and students for 3 years, 4 years. We're still studying data from data collected 20 years ago.
In fact, this particular mission today is its most heavily equipped in its nearly 30 years of service. Each one of these consoles here is a specially equipped scientific instrument designed to collect all sorts of different data in real time.
And this instrument here tracks the sun.
We're looking at mist chambers. They're used to strip soluble gases.
This black line is the CO2. It's about 390 ppm right now.
We're putting these filters in the bags that we've got the aerosols that we trapped out of a certain amount of air. And so we're sampling up here about 150 liters a minute.
That ultimately flows back into the operational models. It flows back into what goes on TV every day.
Anyway, I got to get this sample going.
You do it. It's a busy man at work. We can't let him rest. Well, get this. We've just spent 2 hours crisscrossing this one cloud formation. In, back out again, back in again.
Then they grow, and we track them as long as we can, and then we let it go.
Even one cloud can hold a host of answers to the mysteries of climate change.
The patterns of, where the clouds are, what type of clouds we see, what kind of weather systems they're associated with it, that'll all be shifting in a shifting climate, in a world with climate change.
Then the big spark is when we actually get the meat on the grill. And then it will be some time to process it.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies. In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now.
Please.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, friends and neighbors, what do you say? Good morning. Great to see you this morning. This is The Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., bringing you up to date on all the news of the day, whether it's happening here in our nation's capital, around the country, around the globe. Coming to you live on your local progressive talk radio station, on Free Speech TV, and worldwide on our video stream, TawkrTV. Events in the nation's capital. Hi, everybody. It's Bill Press. This year marks the 10th anniversary of doing the Bill Press Show, every day covering the news of the day with the nation's top newsmakers, either on the line or in our studio right here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Not only that, I go to the White House briefings every day to get answers to the top questions of the day. Bottom line, if it's happening in Washington, D.C., either at the White House or the Capitol, we are all over it. Every day, we welcome to our studio political leaders and reporters and labor leaders and newsmakers to help us understand the issues of the day. You know, we started out as a radio show only, but over the years, we have branched out to all forms of the new media. So today, we're not just a radio show. We are podcasting, streaming audio, streaming video, and we are simulcast live on Free Speech TV nationwide, reaching out to 40 million households on Free Speech TV, in addition to hundreds of thousands on local radio stations and online.
AFGE is so proud to be associated with this show and looks forward to being working with Bill and this show for a long time.
Bill Press is the right man at the right time with the right message.
And thanks to the Bill Press Show, we get our message out to thousands and thousands of people every day. Thank you, Bill Press.
The Teamsters are a proud partner with Bill Press on his show, telling the truth about what's going on with working families. Tune in.
Yes, it's been a fun and exciting 10 years so far for the Bill Press Show. We're looking forward to many more with all of you, broadcasting live every morning from the nation's capital.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada, the teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and the copy of Lawrence Lessig's book and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And most biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner. And then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Here comes a Pope. Ha ha! Yes, indeed. Washington. Washington getting ready. Pope tomorrow, and then the president of China on Friday. Hey, it's a good week to get out of town. What do you say? Hello, everybody. Great to see you today. You're looking good. Thanks for joining us. Here we go. It is the Bill Press Show on a Monday. Big Monday, September 21. Coming to you live from Washington, D.C. All primed up for the Pope's visit tomorrow, starting tomorrow afternoon. And Congress decided they may even come back in town to see the Pope. Yeah, he's giving an address to a joint session of Congress on Thursday, the 24th, before he heads up to New York and then down to Philadelphia for the weekend. Good to see you wherever you happen to be. If you're listening on your local progressive talk radio station, we welcome you. Listening on the TuneIn app or iHeart Radio app to one of our great affiliates, we welcome you as well. And if you're watching on Free Speech TV, how about it? You're looking good, we're looking good, or worldwide if you're watching on our video stream, youtube.com/TawkrTV. We welcome all of you to the program. Look forward to hearing from you about the news of the day, centered either around the Pope or maybe more talk on the political front about Ben Carson saying, no, we cannot have a Muslim ever as President of the United States. Oh, man. I'm telling you, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Anyhow, welcome to the program. We'll cover it all, even the sports world. Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson. Hello, guys. Good morning.
Hey. Good morning.
How about it?
Happy Monday.
Yes, Ray Rogers is here to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS. Keep those phones ringing. Keep those calls coming in. And Cyprian Bolding here on the job, making us look good, helping us to look good, I should say, on Free Speech TV and on TawkrTV. And speaking of the sports world, there was a little news over the weekend, wasn't there?
There was. I have something, maybe, this is probably a good wake-up song here for Peter this morning.
Oh, good. Yeah. Is this the Mississippi fight song?
This would be the Fighting Rebels. The Ole Miss Fighting Rebels.
Yeah, I see. So, what about Roll Tide?
Roll Tide this weekend.
Yeah, you keep playing this by the Mississippi Rebels, right? The team that flies the Confederate flag.
Did the Tide roll back the other way?
Tide got beat on Saturday night. Alabama got beat. It was a close game. It was a garbage game. Alabama played terrible, and they for some ungodly reason decided to start their backup quarterback to start the game, and he played like garbage. So they put in Coker, their starting quarterback, and it got competitive again. Mississippi had some of the most insane football plays I've ever seen. There was one, their criminal quarterback throws this ball, it gets batted.
It's got a good recap here.
Back to him. He catches the ball and then flings it right before he gets sacked.
I saw that.
What a play.
Yeah.
It's a stupid play.
It was a stupid play. Good guy. It's better than going down with the ball.
It's garbage.
No, I saw
It's
that.
a garbage game.
Peter,
All right.
see, I was watching the Ohio State game with Peter this weekend, and Peter was hoping for Ohio State to lose, and they're the other top team, so I think he might have jinxed
That might have
Bama,
been it.
You
Is
know?
that what happened?
Alabama's going to be back.
Meanwhile, on NFL, how we doing on FanDuel? Team, how's my team doing?
All right, here's the deal. I finished very close to last place.
Last time?
Last week, yeah.
Yes.
The very end,
Okay.
very, very bottom. This week, that position seems to be filled by Jamie Benson.
Peter and I have switched places.
Oh, is that right?
I'm in sixth place currently.
How are our fans doing out there?
They're great. They're beating all of us. The top 5 are all listeners of the show.
Get out.
Or viewers to the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Putting up some
all
big
right.
points.
Jamie,
too.
you still have a game tonight, though.
But
so
I was going to
we'll see.
say, we got Monday Night Football, right?
I'm done.
Oh.
I can only go down from here. Jamie can only
Okay.
go up.
All right.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, keep the competition going.
Jamie, you better hope your tight end has a good game tonight.
How about it?
Better performance than Bama. That's all I can ask.
Oh, come on.
Big show today with lots of guests to talk politics, to talk sports, and to talk refugees, including head of an organization that's already on the job handling refugees and has been for quite some time. We'll hear all about it. And yes, we'll take on the good doctor from Baltimore. But first,
This is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories making news. You know, when you are up in space, you don't get a whole lot of perks. Except for we found out one perk that they have up there. They got to watch the new movie, The Martian, which doesn't even come out until October 2nd, but they screened it or over the weekend, I should say. It's about an astronaut who... You got your cocktail over there?
I'm working on it.
You sure?
There it is. Yeah.
It's a heavy shake there this morning. You want to make sure you get it nice and mixed up. It's about an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars, which, if the last place I want to watch that movie...
I was just going to say, I don't think I'd want to watch
is in
that.
space. Yeah, no thanks. It turns out they also watched the movie Gravity earlier in the week.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also about a terrifying space disaster.
Yeah.
So why don't you watch something a little more uplifting? The Martian movie, it's the movie called The Martian, comes out October 2nd. So you'll be able to see it then, and not until then unless you go to space. Doritos, the nacho chips, they got on board with the LGBT movement. They're releasing a new limited edition flavor of chips available only to those who donate to the It Gets Better project, the organization that's devoted to helping LGBT youth. They have unveiled Rainbow Doritos. So they are Doritos that taste just like regular Doritos, but they are made up of all the different colors of the rainbow. So you could get, purple Doritos.
But if you buy them, then part of the price of the package goes to the
It Gets Better project.
It Gets Better project.
So they're
That's
purple,
good.
blue, green, yellow, and red that you can. That they all come mixed up. They're in a special edition bag. They're $10 a bag. But again, a large, which is a lot. But you got to remember that a lot of that goes to the It Gets Better project. So at least it's going to a good cause. And Volkswagen is in a little bit of trouble with the United States government. The Obama administration on Friday directed Volkswagen to recall nearly 500,000 of their cars because they say that Volkswagen illegally installed software to its diesel-powered cars for them to evade standards set for reducing smog. You know that we have these standards to try to reduce carbon emissions.
So they cheated.
And they cheated. They put software in that makes it look like cars are putting out less emissions than they actually are, and the Obama administration took notice. The EPA specifically accused them of using the software to detect when a car is undergoing its periodic state emissions testing to make it look like it's putting out less than it actually is. Shady, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, 500,000 of their cars, that's a big recall.
Damn Germans. Sort of they probably cheat on their beer, too. I'm telling you. All right, here we go. 14 minutes after the hour. Yes, indeed. Just when you thought that this Republican primary could not get any more sickening, could not sink any lower, it just did. Over the weekend, particularly yesterday on Meet the Press. And this kind of started, it did start. I know you talked about this Friday with Clinton Yates, and shout out to Clinton for being here as a friend of Bill on Friday. And Igor was in on Friday, too.
Sure was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he came in, too.
2 FOBs on Friday.
About
Yeah. So, at any rate, it started, last week up in New Hampshire when Donald Trump giving a big rally, and then he takes questions. Any questions? Yes, a guy gets up with a Trump T-shirt on and a total Looney Tunes, and he starts out on the old lie about President Obama.
Problem in this country.
We got a problem.
Muslims. We know our current president is one. You know he's not even an American.
We need this
Birth
question. This is
certificates,
the
man.
first question.
Yeah. So
See how excited Trump is to get that question, by the way.
Yeah. Now Trump says we need this question. Yeah. You know what? He knew exactly what the guy was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't respond. And he's just a chicken. He just showed no class, no character, no, like signs of adulthood by letting that pass. And again, I know you played this and you've talked about, and we've all talked about the fact that John McCain did just the opposite in 2008. I've been a candidate. You're up there in public and somebody makes a statement like that is absolutely false and misleading and disgusting. You have to respond. You can't let them get away with it. That's your responsibility as a candidate.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, so Trump had a moment, and he just blew it. You know why? Because he wants that out there. Remember, he was the number one birther, right? So he doesn't correct this guy. But that started a whole round of comments about, what about that? Should anyone's religion be an issue? Well, so every candidate's been asked to comment on that, and actually a couple of them done pretty well. Jeb Bush, for example, said about President Obama, "No, look, he's an American. He's a good man. He's an American. He's a Christian. What's wrong with him is he's just a liberal and a progressive." Okay, look, I'm a liberal progressive too, but I can take that. I mean, that was the right thing for Jeb Bush to say, right thing for a Republican candidate to say. But so everybody's been asked, and along comes Ben Carson on Meet the Press yesterday, and he was asked by Chuck Todd whether if someone were a Muslim, that would make any difference about being president of the United States. And I must admit, Chuck Todd and all the rest of us were a little surprised, stunned by Ben Carson's response.
I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Would not accept a Muslim as a president of the United States of America simply because of his religion. This is Ben Carson. Chuck Todd says, you mean religion really should be like a factor we consider?
If it fits within the realm of America and consistent with the Constitution, no problem.
So do you believe that Islam is consistent with the Constitution?
No, I don't. I do not.
Islam not consistent with the Constitution of the United States, says Ben Carson. I mean, think about this. First of all, remember, Ben Carson is supposed to be the reasonable outsider, the calm one, the intelligent one, the neurosurgeon, right, who just happens to be getting involved in politics. He's absolutely freaking nuts. I mean, and I think he's finally showed it, right? He's said some wild things in the past, comparing Obamacare to slavery, but lately he's been masquerading as sort of this, reasonable guy, right? Yeah. As opposed to Trump.
Right.
Let me tell you, this trumps anything Trump ever said. Right, what Ben Carson did. But you see, what he's saying is, first of all, this is really dangerous. He's saying that religion should be a test. We vote for somebody based on their religion. And then he says he has the audacity to say that Islam is against the Constitution. What he just said is against the Constitution.
There's so many things wrong.
It's so un-American. Right. Oh, I can't vote for him because he's a Catholic. I can't vote for him because she's a Jew, right? I mean, you know where this is going. It is no big leap from what Ben Carson said to saying we can never have a Jew as a president. I mean,
what's the difference?
Yeah, and imagine saying that today, and surviving politically, or saying we can't have a Catholic as a president. He says that. Let me see, 1960, right? Okay, 40, 55 years after we went through that with John F. Kennedy, and people were saying that at the time. Some ministers were saying that at the time because they're afraid about his loyalty to the Pope and not to the people of the United States. And we got over that. But Ben Carson is bringing it back. He's saying we decide which religion counts and which one doesn't. And I'll tell you, it's not so far from that as saying we could never have an African American as president, or we could never have a woman as president. I mean, that's where Ben Carson is taking us. The fact that every single Republican hasn't stood up and denounced and condemned that comment to me is pretty scary.
And it shows just how acceptable it is to use this fear of Islam in a very public stage. You could get away with it.
Total.
You can get away with it.
You can get away with it. He's going to get away with it. You watch. He is going to get away with it. And it is, I know you talked with Clinton about this on Friday, but let's talk more about it. 866-55-PRESS. I want to get your take on this. This is Islamophobia at its worst. And the Islamophobia that has been really so widespread in this country ever since September 11. Get over it, people. And showed its ugly face again last week with this 14-year-old kid and Muslim American kid in Texas who gets arrested because he made a clock that a teacher thought looked like a bomb. You know what? If his name were Johnny and not Muhammad, he would never have been arrested.
Damn right.
Ben Carson. No Muslim ever president of the United States. That's how low we've sunk. 866-55-PRESS. I want to get your take here on this Monday, The Bill Press Show.
This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, And then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
Man, I don't know. Keith Ellison is one of the politicians today that I admire the most in this country. Straightforward, honest, progressive, hardworking, smart. Guess he could never be president of the United States. Happens to be a Muslim. Yeah. Man. There's so much wrong with this, right? Okay, so let's say you have to be a Christian. Think of some of the ugly, horrible things that Christians have done over the course of history, right? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And I got to tell you, I mean, particularly when I was living in L.A., some of the best people I met and worked with, I remember one gentleman, Dr. Sabri Al-Farah, just one of the most peaceful, smart, generous people I ever met. Leader of the Muslim community in Los Angeles. You know, I mean, wonderful, wonderful people. You can't dismiss people just because of their faith, no matter what that faith happens to be. Again, I thought Jeb Bush said it very well. Good for him with stepping up to the plate here when he was asked.
Barack Obama is a talented man. And by the way, he's an American. He's a Christian. His problem isn't the fact that he was born here or that he's what his faith is. His problem is he's a progressive liberal that tears down anybody that disagrees with him.
Yeah, that's fair. Come on. I mean, stick to the policy.
That's politics.
That's politics. That is politics, and that's fair. That's what we ought to be talking about, right? Doesn't matter. I mean, seriously, their gender doesn't matter. Their sexual orientation matters. Oh, man. I'd love to hear what by the way, I'd love to hear what Ben Carson would say about the first gay president, right? The first LGBT president. Oh, my God, right? Satan. Yeah, that's right. What he would say. Yeah. I mean, when are we going to get beyond this? I thought we had gotten beyond it. I guess not. Ben Carson is taking this back. Let's talk. 866-55-PRESS.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669, or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
Show. What do you say? Happy Monday, September 21. Hey, sports fans, good to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Here at the Bill Press Show, live from your nation's capital, just down the street from the United States Capitol building. They were putting out the porta potties over the weekend for the Pope. Pope potties, maybe they ought to call them. Down the mall in front of the Capitol. And we're right nearby, brought to you today by the National Education Association. Teachers of America, strong in the classrooms, making a big difference for every student in America. You bet. The good Teachers of America under their president, Lily Eskelsen Garcia, members of the NEA. We thank them for their support of the program. Salute their good work. Talking about Ben Carson dragging things down to say, let's all be un-American, let's all be unconstitutional, let's all be prejudiced and discriminatory in how we choose whom we're going to vote for president. Let's make their religion the main issue. Catholics, I guess, with him, although they didn't ask, okay. Certainly Christians, okay, but Muslims, no way, according to Ben Carson, because Islam is against the United States Constitution.
But I guess that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Like, if he had said, I don't think Christians should be in office, or I don't think Catholics should be in office, or I don't think that black people should be president, or women,
Jews.
or gays, or Jews. If he had said any of those things, he would be completely and utterly laughed out of politics forever and ever. Amen.
And he should be because of this.
But he won't. That's the problem. That's the problem. He won't be.
Because
he can get
of
away
this
with it.
Islamophobia.
Absolutely.
Rose out in Ligonier, Indiana. Hey, Rose, how are you?
Hi, Bill. You kind of just hit my point. Was there is two things stated in the Constitution for the qualifications for a president.
Right.
One is age, and the other, it has to be a natural-born citizen. It does not state that you have to be green or purple or do some kind of ritualistic ceremony.
Yeah, right. Why does he make this up and then pretend to be this intelligent surgeon, doctor who's qualified to be president of the United States, right? Maybe maybe there should be an IQ test, Rose.
Yeah, my question is, I know for medical, government's not pushed, but if you're going to get into it, you might want to read at least the Bill of Rights and the Constitution.
One would think. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Rose, good to hear from you again. Haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah.
Indeed. And, again, it was refreshing to hear Jeb Bush step up and say the right thing. John Kasich also said, of course I'd support a Muslim for president of the United States. And Lindsey Graham, I just want to recognize the few Republicans who show a little backbone. Lindsey pointed out, how about those Muslims who are serving in the military?
I think this shows that Dr. Carson's not ready to be commander-in-chief. He said that he didn't believe somebody of the Muslim faith could be loyal to the Constitution. My belief is that the approximate 3,500 American Muslims wearing the uniform of the United States military are loyal to the country. They're fighting and dying for their nation.
Yeah. Hello.
Powerful stuff.
Powerful point. Good point. Absolutely. Final word on this. Let's bounce out to Chicago. What do you say, Joey?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's ask the Pope what he thinks about these Christians when he comes to town. That'll give him some more ammunition against these Republicans. Let's ask the Pope. See what he has to say about this bill.
I'll tell you, we know where the Pope would be on this. Yeah, the Pope would say, it doesn't make any damn difference what your faith is, right? Yeah. And, yeah, wouldn't it be great? Hey, Joey, thanks for your call. Good to hear from you. Wouldn't it be great if the Pope would stand up in front of the Congress and say, hey, by the way, who's this nutball Ben Carson? Oh, that'd be great.
That would be hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's some other news on the Republican front, and that is what the media is now calling the most overworked, overused phrase of this political year is the word surge, right? Donald Trump surging. Ben Carson surging. Now it is Carly Fiorina surging in the polls. The latest CNN poll, first post, I think of all.
Yeah, the post-debate polls.
First post-debate poll of anybody. CNN out over the weekend. Donald Trump still up number one at 24% nationwide, this is. Still leads in Iowa and New Hampshire as well. But the big news is that Carly Fiorina is now in second place, edging out Ben Carson. She's got 15%, Ben Carson at 14%. And everybody said this is because Carly Fiorina won the debate, the second debate, and now she is the outsider alternative to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, we wonder how long that's going to last, because I'm telling you, the closer, my belief, the closer people get a look at Carly Fiorina, the less attractive she is. She wants to be CEO of the United States after being a total disaster as CEO of Hewlett-Packard. Donald Trump was right. She took that company, a great company, and put it down in the ground. And this is why, remember, She ran for Senate. Again, you may not know all this. We'll all find out about this. But she ran for Senate in California against Barbara Boxer. She lost because of her record at Hewlett-Packard.
Yeah.
She lost because she was a disaster. 30,000 people lost their jobs at Hewlett-Packard during that time. And this woman lies. She totally lies. She lied at first. Remember, the big lie at that debate was when she talked about this video of this little fetus lying on a table, its heart beating, its feet kicking, while somebody was saying, we're going to take its brain out so we can. And there is no such video. Even some Republicans have admitted there is no such video. She made the whole freaking thing up. Total lie. And there's another one which I just learned about this morning in the debate. If you remember when Donald Trump said something about, hey, Carly, you did such a great job there at Hewlett-Packard. She started out by saying, actually, a venture capitalist who was one of those who pushed for me to get out, pushed for me to be dethroned as head of, fired, okay, that's the word, as the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. He just ran a full-page ad in the newspaper saying that he had made a mistake and he was sorry he did so. Oh. What she didn't tell us, that ad did appear. What she didn't tell us is that ad was paid for, $140,000, was paid for by her super PAC. Now, reported on the front page of the New York Times. Now, they don't say how much they paid him to do the ad.
Right.
But they bought the ad. He didn't buy the ad. They bought the ad. And apparently the same group, which is called Carly for America, is gathering footage of another venture capitalist, Thomas Perkins, praising Mrs. Fiorina, and they're going to use that in TV or internet ads in the weeks ahead. It is all part of an extensive effort, reports the Times, by Carly and her supporters to redefine her rocky business reputation. Mm-hmm.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah. When she ran against Barbara Boxer, she was known as Carly Failorina. Ooh. Carly Failorina. Yeah.
Yikes.
We're gonna hear more and more about this.
I hope we do.
Yeah, indeed. So she's yeah. If she does to this country what she did to Hewlett-Packard,
God help us.
The collapse of 2008 will seem like good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting now that she is on this stage, and now that she has sort of rocketed up here. It's my way of not saying surge.
Yes.
That she's rocketed up to where she is. People really need to pay closer attention to what she says. You can't just throw these things out there anymore and just expect to skate by. I'm glad that someone's digging in and saying these stories aren't true, and you can't just say these things and expect us to not pay attention to them. Only Donald Trump can do that.
Right. No. And isn't it interesting that now Carly Fiorina and Ben Carson have maybe both proven themselves even crazier than Donald Trump?
It's amazing, right? He looks sane in comparison to some of these stories.
I know everything's relative, but all right. Hey, Scott Bland, editor-in-chief of the National Journal Hotline, ready to join us on this Monday. We'll be right back. Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, 13 minutes now before the top of the hour. It is Monday, September 21. Normally at this time, we talk to Scott Bland, who is editor-in-chief of the National Journal Hotline, but we're not sure we're able to do so today. We have certain standards on this show. So I have to ask you first, Scott, are you a Muslim?
It was quite a weekend, wasn't it?
Because we do
First Amendment conversation in this country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We would not advocate having a Muslim on this show. So
Ben Carson hasn't taken over the show yet.
No, I guess that. Can he get away with this, Scott?
That's a good question, and it depends. It depends on what you mean by get away with this.
Do you think it'll make any difference? You know what I mean? Make any difference in his support?
In terms of his Republican primary support, I don't know, and it depends a little bit on where that support is coming from. On the one hand, he has built this support by having very broad-based appeal. He has the highest favorability among Republicans of any candidate at the moment, and has for a little while. And so you'd think that this will cut into the number of people who say they like him. Whether this will cut into the number of people who say they're planning to vote for him, which is a smaller number, is another issue entirely. And we've seen the same thing with Donald Trump this summer, where he has said some outrageous things that people expected to affect his poll numbers, and they in fact either did nothing or maybe even had the opposite effect. I think it's almost impossible to tell whether or not this will affect Carson. What I will say is that this feeds into something that happened last time Carson had a little bit of a bump, which is that he failed to deal properly with the increased scrutiny and really hurt himself. And now he's having another moment, and we've been wondering if he was going to kind of hurt himself again, and this may well have been that.
Well, first of all, Trump seems to be in a category by himself, right? Almost impervious to any damage from anything he says. But it seems to me that one of the problems for Carson is that now there's another alternative to Trump, right? He's not the only alternative to Trump anymore. There's Carly. So people who are turned off by Trump, and then they see Carson say something like this, they say, all right, well, then let's move over to Carly instead. You think?
Yeah, that's potentially true. I mean, it's going to take a little while to figure out exactly what lane Fiorina is in, because while she is a non-politician, she's a non-politician because she didn't win the Senate race in California in 2010.
Right.
But while she is coming from that outsider lane, her kind of ideological place in the primary is a little bit more establishment leaning.
Yeah.
If you look at the people who have been giving her campaign, her super PAC money, it's a lot of the same people who have been donating to Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham and others. It's a lot of establishment-focused donors. In fact, most of the money that her super PAC had raised through the first half of the year came from donors who had also given to another candidate. And so, I'm still trying to figure out, and I think we all are, exactly what lane she, or whether she is maybe the one of the rare candidates who's able to kind of effectively straddle the establishment, anti-establishment divide.
Her performance in the debate seems to have resulted in, or has resulted in quite a bump in the polls for her. Latest CNN poll, I know you've reported too, 24 for Donald Trump. He's down a little bit, and she's way up to 15%, just about tied with Ben Carson. How much more scrutiny will she see as a result of that, and how much do you think her dismal record at Hewlett-Packard will hurt her?
She's going to see a lot more scrutiny. She has already seen a lot more scrutiny, and I think what we've seen is, you can pretty well track the movement in the poll numbers with media attention over the summer in the Republican primary, and so there's going to be a ton more focus on her record at HP and her business record in general, and there's going to be a lot of voices out there kind of criticizing that. I think I've seen quotes flying around from grandchildren of the original founders of the company. Obviously, Barbara Boxer used that to great effect in the U.S. Senate race in 2010. Now, that was a general election in California, not a Republican primary in Iowa and New Hampshire and wherever else. And so we'll have to continue to see how this works out. And also, frankly, there's just she's had more time to separate. She's not only had more time to think of how to respond to these things, but the events at HP are much further in the past. So
Right. I wanted to ask you about one other candidate. There used to be a guy running for president by the name of Scott Walker. Do you remember him? Boy, latest poll, he's you got to admit, he's over Jim Gilmore and George Pataki. But that's about it.
Congratulations on that.
It's pretty stunning to see what's happened to the one-time Iowa frontrunner.
Yeah.
I think fundamentally there's still, it's interesting. You look at the kind of underlying numbers in the polls, and lots of Republican voters still say they like him, they view him favorably. But again, as you said, no one is saying they would actually vote for him if the election was today. Wow. And so what happens then is that kind of rebounds back into the invisible primary, and you see his donors starting to freak out a little bit and say they're going to spread their money around. You see talk about staff changes, which is never good.
Right.
So, whether or not he can survive this moment is less a question of the polls and more a question of the reaction of the polls of these insider circles.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
To say the least. Got to run along. Thanks, Scott. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, Editor-in-Chief, National Journal Hotline, nationaljournal.com.
Your progressive headquarters for the 2016 election. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. At highway speeds, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop the texts, stop the wrecks.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Aswin Subsang from Daily Beast at the top of the next hour. Peter.
You know, Stephen Colbert is having quite a launch.
Yeah.
We found out that he's going to get another big interview a week from today. A week from today, on the 28th of September, he'll be sitting down with Michelle Obama.
No.
Michelle Obama is going to the Late Show later on this month. Flotus will be there. She's going to talk about her Let Girls Learn and Reach Higher initiatives that stress the importance of adolescent girls' education.
Flotus, who was out at Ghibellina, a nice little Italian trattoria on 14th Street the other night for dinner. I talked to the owner of Ghibellina over the weekend. He was very excited. Nice. Welcome the First Lady. She ate a lot.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans of Free Speech TV, listen up here. You know, this is the Fall Pledge Drive. We've told you about it before. We need your help to keep free speech on the air. We are like nobody else out there in the broadcasting business. First of all, we are 24/7, the one and only progressive television network, and we are the only one that has no government support, no corporate support, no Koch brothers support. You are our lifeline. We depend on you, and we need your help for this pledge drive again. Remember, our goal for the 2 weeks is $282,000. That means for our show, $1,500 a day is what we got to meet. We need your help to get there. And we're so happy to have one of our great fans and loyal supporters here on the line from us from Boston. Hey, Tom, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
All right, good. You're a big fan of Free Speech TV, right?
Yes, sir. I start my day every day watching you guys. You do a fantastic job.
You're a good man. You mean, so you got the Patriots and the Bill Press Show, right? Are they your big...
Yes. What could you ask for?
There you go. You got it. All right. So you've heard us...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've heard us make the pitch for some help. Can you help us out today?
Yes, sir, I did. And what I'm going to do is... well, needless to say, I'm from Boston, which is also known as the cradle of liberty.
Of course.
Now, the only other city in the Union that can claim that distinction is the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. All right.
And, okay, now, I'm on a railroad pension, but I'd be happy to pledge $120 to Free Speech TV.
Wow.
With the challenge from anyone from our sister city of Philadelphia to match my pledge.
That is great. You know what? First of all, I love sticking it to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have a claim to fame here, right? They have Independence Hall, and that's where the Constitution was written, right? At the Constitutional Convention.
Right.
All right. So your challenge, Tom, and that's very generous of you. Thank you. Your challenge is somebody from Philadelphia to match that contribution, right?
Yes, sir, of $120.
Match that pledge of $120. All right. And I'll tell you what, so we get that person, that person calls, we'll put them on the air, and we'll introduce them to Tom. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking it up a notch. We really love that, all right? And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Bill. Thank you, pal.
Tom from Boston. There he is. All right. You're out there from Philadelphia. Match Tom's pledge of $120. And for the rest of you, remember, if you can help us out, we will help you with some great gifts. For $30, we'll send you a pledge of $30. We'll send you an Eco Journal, Bill Press Show Eco Journal, and a pen set. For $60, this great stamp, people love it. Corporations are not people. You can use it to stamp your checks or letters or kind of whatever. $120, that's $10 a month. A copy of Republic Lost, Lawrence Lessing's great book on campaign finance reform. For $240, $20 a month, you get this. Look at this free speech bear with the free speech 10 buttons. 10 buttons here for all the shows on free speech, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. For $360, you get the whole works. The Free Speech TV Bear, the 10-button set, the stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. So help us as much as you can. If you can really help with $1,000, get yourself to Washington. That's where we are. Bring a friend. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. Come in the next day, and you can meet the whole team here. That's it. Help us as much as you can for Free Speech TV. Go to that telephone number is 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. And we thank Tom and thank all of you.
I am your toilet, so how do you do? I take away your wee and the odd number 2. For a quiet moment, I'll always be there, bringing you troubles. You don't even have to care. Oh, think about the things you put me through. Things you put me through that I've been through you. Stuff from your body I'll happily take. Liquid or solid, whatever you make. When you think of all the things that I do, say thanks to your Lou. If I wasn't there anymore, you can only imagine disaster. I am a lifesaver, and that is not a lie. Where I don't exist, thousands die. So next time you have to do a poo or a wee, thank the sanitary saints that you have me. When you think of all the things that I do, it's time to say thanks to your Lou. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. It's time to say thank you to your Lou.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Yep. Rev up the Pope Mobile. He's on his way, arrives tomorrow, and Washington is going to be shut down for 3 days. It'll be fun, though. Hey, hello, everybody. What do you say? Great to see you. Welcome back to the real world here. Hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday, September 21. And this is the Bill Press Show. We are here in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Ready for all of you today with the issues of the day. We've got it covered worldwide, got it covered what's happening here in Washington and around the country as well. We'll tell you what's going on. You tell us what it means to you. Whether you're listening on your local progressive talk radio station, whether you're watching on Free Speech TV, we welcome you to the program. Look forward to hearing your comments. 866-55-PRESS is how you join us by phone. You can send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Team Press in place. Everybody survived the weekend, It appears, in good form.
Here we are.
Good morning.
Blackburn, Jamie Benson, indeed.
Happy Monday.
Yep. Is there such a thing as a happy Monday? I don't know. I haven't found one yet.
I get to spend 3 hours in a room with you, Bill. It's always a happy Monday.
Yeah.
And a happy Tuesday.
Damn,
and a happy
payday was last
Wednesday.
week.
But think about it the other way around. You know. Yes, Ray Rogers here. She's ready to take your calls. 866-55-PRESS. Keep that lady busy here this morning. And Cyprian Balding has got to keep his eye on the cameras and making sure we're still looking good. Not just Team Press here, but he's got a real challenge this morning to make Aswin Subsang look good. He's here from the Daily Beast, our good friend, Deputy Social Media Editor, whatever the hell that means. Hello, Aswin. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. I'm glad you pointed out that my title is utterly meaningless.
All of our titles are truly, utterly meaningless at the end of the day, Swin.
Oh, absolutely.
We're
in media. None of our titles mean anything.
Now, so you're in social media. I don't know whether you ever delve into the world of sports. No?
No, I don't know anything about sports. It's the worst thing about me.
Well, I joined you. But there is such a thing as the UFC, I've learned. Right? Mixed martial arts kind of competition, Peter?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, so if you're a sports announcer, how do you handle it when one of the people in the ring has the funny name of Danny Mayanus?
Look at the look of intensity on Mayanus. The question is, can Semen get inside Mayanus? Mayanus has got to be careful of the liver kick. This is not where Mayanus wants to be. Mayanus is most comfortable on the ground.
Not a good place for Mayanus to be.
Wait, that's real?
This is for real.
You're sure that's real? Like that's definitely.
Yes, for real.
Here's the deal.
I made some montage right over the. But how else can you say it? That's not where Mayanus wants to be.
What nationality is that name?
I don't know. It's made even more awkward.
Whatever it is, he ought to change it.
By the British accent, right? Because it could be seen as Manus.
Or minus.
Or minus, but the way that the British broadcaster talks about it is minus.
Yes.
Minus is most comfortable on the ground.
I don't know. Oh, just silly but funny. I thought anyhow this morning.
Man,
I gotta look into that more.
You gotta look into my anus.
I'm gonna write a long read profile of my anus.
I can see it coming here right on the. All right. Anyhow, we've got it covered from sports to politics to religion to refugees this morning. In fact, we're talking about them in the next hour. All of that coming up. But first, Peter.
This is the Full Court Press.
Just a couple of other stories.
Peter's got the big stories.
Yes, indeed. All the big stories out there. Hey, congratulations to Roshan Ghaffarian. She will serve as the White House's new chief floral designer. It's a new chief floral designer there at the White House.
My old job.
Yeah, right. Well, titles mean nothing, of course. She comes to the job with more than 25 years of experience. Now, this is very interesting, right? Because she is an Iranian-American woman in the position of florist. So, that's what I was going to say. Under the Ben Carson presidency, she might be out of a job. But congratulations. Roshan Ghaffari will be handling all of the flowers and floral arrangements there at the White House. Last night were the Emmys, and while we don't have time to go through all of the different categories, we will talk about a couple of big news items. First of all, Game of Thrones made history last night. They took home 12 Emmy Awards. That beats the record set by The West Wing back in 2000. The West Wing's record was 8. So that is a handy victory there. Also, congratulations to Viola Davis. She won for her role in How to Get Away with Murder. And she's the first African-American woman.
Absolutely. Made history.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Great.
I heard Veep did really well, too.
What did?
Veep.
Veep also cleaned up, which is a phenomenal show.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, Bob Cusack did not win for his role on Veep.
Oh.
The best walk-on, but yeah. And you remember the name Heidi Fleiss, don't you, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
The Hollywood Madam, from back in the 90s.
I met Heidi Fleiss. I defended Heidi Fleiss.
Well, I'm glad you defended
radio
her.
and TV in L.A.
Well, she is hard up for money.
Uh-oh.
She makes no bones about it, so she is selling her little black book. Her little black book with all of the names that were in there from when she served as Hollywood Madam. She has put it on eBay with a reserve price of $100,000. That begins today on eBay, so if you want to get your hands on it, you can go bid on it, but again, she's not going to sell it for anything less than $100,000. So if you want to go get it, go to eBay.
But, after Ashley Madison...
I mean...
Yeah, it's a lot of
Aren't
time.
they all out there now?
It's pretty much...
Yeah, a lot of time. A lot of water under the bridge since that all came out.
I mean, this was 25 years ago that this was happening, 20 years ago. So I'm not sure who's going to be in there that we still care about, but, go get that money.
You got it. Thank you, Peter. So, Aswin, let's catch up on your take on the political front. But first of all, we've talked about millennials before, right?
Every time I'm here, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Hashtag millennials.
Mm-hmm. So I just checked the voting record for millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Turnout last time around, 21%.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What's wrong with you?
Well, last time around you were talking about...
I like how you have to speak for all millennials when you come on this show.
Yeah, it's like whenever a black person does something wrong and Fox News invites someone on to be like, why aren't you standing up for the black on black crime? Yeah, it's exactly like that. So when you say last time around, you mean the midterms, right? Well, young people and, in fact, Democratic voters have a terrible track record of coming out for the midterms. So I think that's a little bit of an unfair comparison. I think the story there is more, why don't liberals turn out for midterms? But the time before that, 2012, and the presidential election before that, 2008, I think we did pretty okay, didn't we?
I think it was 26%. I have to go back and pull the article up, but it wasn't that high. It was not that impressive.
Okay. In that case, I am here to speak on behalf of all millennials and defend them and get on my knees and tell you why.
I guess the question then, maybe the better question is, do millennials really care about this election? Are they following that to the extent, your friends and your people, your universe, you can't speak for all of them. Do you find they're really interested in this campaign? Are they following it? Are they involved?
for 2016, that's yet to be seen. But at this point, yeah, millennials are deeply invested in this and following this, at the very least because of how much of a social media election this has started to become.
And what does that mean? What's the evidence that this is a social media election?
The front runner is a reality TV persona, a flamboyant one, if that, who spends like 80% of his time bashing people on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, he is a wizard on Twitter,
yes.
Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It's really remarkable.
Mm-hmm. Does he? His latest over the weekend, he just bashed the hell out of Carly Fiorina.
Yeah, because he's starting to feel threatened by.
Is he doing it? Does he have people to do it?
No, it's not just. Well, certainly he's driving so much of the media attention right now, whether social media or traditional media. But especially since 2008, the conditions more and more for these elections have been to engage the populace, particularly young millennial voters, even if they don't turn out as much as I would like them to. The next time we have a meeting of the committee, I'll bring this up. That conditions are ripe for it to matter that your digital team for your campaign is solid. Not just in terms of social media, but yes, online, not just going door to door, is the way you really motivate and fire up people and reach them. And that is obviously vital to reaching young voters.
So you
look at Obama in 2008.
Right. You've called this the best election ever?
Hashtag best election ever, yes.
Because?
Primarily because of Donald Trump. This is just insane. It just the degree to which this is a pop cultural and especially political fascination to me and so many other journalists and observers. And I'm sure the political pundits who have gotten this wrong every step of the way for the last 3 or 4 months is monumentally fascinating. I can tell you a little bit about why, unless you have some thoughts on my thesis.
No, I want to hear more.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's sort of a cliche at this point to say Donald Trump. Let's just focus on the Donald for a little bit, because I know it's anything anybody is talking about.
Well, it is we just experienced the summer of Trump.
Better than the summer of love, yes. I wasn't alive for it, but I have to imagine it's superior. It is a cliche at this point to say he's defied every...
By the way, the summer of love was better.
Was it?
I believe it.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
No, I was in San Francisco.
There was no Twitter in the summer of love. How could it be better, man?
I was in San Francisco for the summer of love. It was better.
We're going to have to talk about that offline, because I'm sure there's some not safe for work content.
Yeah, that's right. The FCC won't let us talk about half the stuff he's going to say.
All right. Back to you. Sorry.
No problem. It is a cliche at this point to say he's defied every ounce of political gravity that you could imagine for these last 3 months or however long. Like any of the number of comments he's made that's been controversial or supposedly anathema to the right-wing or conservative base in this country that would have sunk any other campaign or candidate like the next day. Either it hasn't affected him or his numbers have just gone up. He's solidified his lead against the very crowded Republican base. And it's gotten to the point where basically everybody, whether they're in the pundit class or they're a journalist or in the Republican donor class, has not been able to dismiss him. Mm-hmm. This has started out that, he's a joke, he's a reality TV buffoon, he's a flamboyant idiot, this will go away. But every time people have said that, he just gets stronger to the point where Republican donors and people in the RNC are worried. I'm not sure if they're worried to the point where, like, oh my God, he's going to be the nominee. But it's no longer a certainty. Like, it's no longer
that he won't be the
when
nominee.
He will fade away. It's if.
Right.
And it's freaking out Republican donors, like the guys with big pockets. And it's gotten to the point where people who just not that many months ago were thought to have a decent, if not better shot at the nomination, like Chris Christie or Scott Walker, have fallen completely to the wayside. And it's this guy sucking up all this energy and actually gaining a good amount of support among Republican voters. Like, this isn't fake. And it's just absolutely fascinating.
So at the risk of being another pundit proven wrong, do you think it'll last? Could he go all the way to the nomination?
Well, there are certain things such as seppuku that I would commit before calling myself a pundit.
Yeah.
But let me just put on my pundit hat for a moment. If we will. I'm sorry, what was the question again? When do you
think the Trump phenomenon can last? Maybe all the way to the nomination?
Sure. I'm not sure I'd put my money on it, but at this point, because of all the things he has just hopped over, including saying on a Republican debate stage, single payer has worked out great in several other countries, which should have killed anybody else months ago, because he's survived so much at this point. And yes, it's early polling, et cetera, how much stock can we put in it?
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, he is clocking in at roughly like 25, 30%. I forget exactly what the polling average is. It depends which poll you look at, but that's generally what he has. In a field that it seems to include every Republican and his or her grandmother. So it's impressive. So my answer to you is sure. Will it? I have no idea. But at this point, don't count him out.
Yeah. Daddy Beast, by the way, I want to get into this when we come back from the break. You've been talking about one social media website that has really started to have an impact on this 2016 campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Funny or Die.
That's a comedy and satire website, yes. They're social media savvy.
All right, here we go with Aswin Subsang. The social media aspect of this summer of Trump. And the best election ever, is it? 866-55-PRESS. It is for some of us. We'll be right back.
Like politics? Then like The Bill Press Show on Facebook. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada, the teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
Annie Linskey is a reporter for the Boston Globe. She was up in New Hampshire over the weekend with Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and Martin O'Malley. She'll be here to tell us all about it. Visiting now with Aswin Subsang from the Daily Beast, deputy social media editor. Tell us about Funny or Die.
Well, Funny or Die is a popular comedy and satire website.
Will Ferrell, right?
It was founded by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay in 2007. And they first started gaining a lot of steam about 8 years ago for making, more frivolous pop cultural videos starring celebrity friends. Because, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay have a lot of pull. Mm-hmm. And they can get people together for a Funny or Die exclusive with a comedy short. With stuff like that. But especially since 2008, the 2008 election and its aftermath, Funny or Die started doing more political satire that obviously got a lot of press attention, not just from entertainment press, but political press and DC media, including Prop 8, the musical, which was this short musical in protest against Proposition 8 passing in California.
Yeah, right.
When John McCain's campaign put out that ad comparing then Senator Barack Obama to Paris Hilton, like the biggest celebrity in the world, they put out a video in which they had Paris Hilton on responding to John McCain, calling him that wrinkly old white guy. But now, 8 years after their launch, Funny or Die DC, they've just opened up an office in DC to supplement their offices in LA and New York. And this office opened just this past April, and it's headed by Brad Jenkins, who is a former Obama White House staffer. And the purpose of this DC bureau is not just to create content, but to find partners and work with, say, super PACs, political advocacy organizations, or even presidential campaigns. To essentially create political-sponsored content, as in content that is paid for, whether it's lobbying for a piece of legislation or in support of a certain candidate or campaign or whatever. And it's essentially Funny or Die as a business and as a comedy organization getting involved in the big-money political lobbying game here in Washington, D.C. and nationally. And when I heard about this, I thought it was fascinating.
Well, it is fascinating, the fact that now they're really getting into making money off of this, right? And doesn't that sort of color their objectivity or appeal quickly?
They have made money off of making videos for brands before, and the way they see it is a person or a political campaign is no different than a brand.
Right.
That's fair. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah. I think it is. How do people find it? Funny or Die?
FunnyOrDie.com.
We'll tweet out a link to your page, too.
All right. Okay. Very good. Thanks for your good work. Thanks for coming in, being a good friend of the program. We'll see you again soon. FunnyOrDie.com, right?
Got it, yep.
Okay. Back with Annie Linskey from the Boston Globe.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada, the teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
Progressive headquarters for the 2016 election. This is The Bill Press Show.
33 minutes after the hour, Monday, September 21. The Bill Press Show, Washington, D.C. is where you find us. Our studio on Capitol Hill, where we're brought to you today by the International Association of Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers. You put them all together, sheet metal, air, rail, and transportation workers. You get the SMART Union. Men and women of the SMART Union under President Joseph Sellers giving a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, you bet. And we salute their good work and thank them for their support of the program. Well, Republicans headed out went down to South Carolina and then up to Michigan after their big debate last week. Democrats headed to New Hampshire for the Democratic convention in New Hampshire. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Martin O'Malley, and Annie Linskey covering them for the Boston Globe. Joins us in studio. Hello, Annie. Welcome back.
Hi. Good to be back.
You had a good time up there?
It was fantastic. Just beautiful state. I'm a big fan.
Big turnout. And
yeah.
So let's start with Hillary. She was appearing in the face of recent polls that showed her, one poll, 22 points down.
I know.
So what was her mood?
Look, I mean, when I went to several of her events out there and her campaign, and she were trying very hard to project this sense of the polls don't matter. It's too early to even think about, let's look back to Bill Bradley. He was doing very well. Howard Dean was doing very well. This type of energy certainly, it peaks and then it goes away. And then they were also saying, look, we're trying to do very small forums. So we're not even trying to compete with this Bernie Sanders big rallies. We're focusing on small forums. But on Friday, I believe, she was at the University of New Hampshire, and she had overflow crowds for the first time. And she was so excited and kept saying, I'm delighted that there are overflow crowds because there were 1,000 people there, right? So that was a big crowd for her. Fast forward 2 days, and Bernie Sanders is in the same venue with 5,000 people. So, I mean, there's an enthusiasm gap, right? Yeah. There's an enthusiasm gap, and it is being felt acutely in New Hampshire. There's a new CNN poll that came out today, though, showing nationally her lead is expanding. So, the places where this people are really feeling the burn seem to be Iowa and New Hampshire. And, I was talking to some of my friends recently about who was the last person, or the last Democrat at least, who lost Iowa and lost New Hampshire and went on to win the nomination. And we were thinking about it, and it was Bill Clinton. So,
sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
So,
he came back. The comeback kid was New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But he came second, not first.
Right.
That was considered for him at the time.
A win.
After the Jennifer Flowers thing.
Right.
A win.
So, but, it was just, that enthusiasm gap, a lot of people, myself included, thought that, the Sanders phenomenon would be a summer fling, and Labor Day would come and people would start looking, taking a harder look at the candidates, and Hillary would and her policy chops would move her into a new category. And just talking to people, which is what I spent most of my time out there doing, is just really talking to people. I've talked to probably 30 people, and at these events, at Hillary Clinton events, and there just wasn't the kind of love still that Sanders is generating out there.
The convention was just like the party regulars, right? Is that about 1,000 people?
Yeah, about 1,000 people were there.
Yeah. How was she received?
She was received well, but and that's what you expect. You expect in front of these party folks, and you saw that in Iowa as well. She was out there for a dinner that I was at over the summer, and the party, is strongly behind her. I mean, she had endorsements from Jeanne Shaheen, from Governor Maggie Hassan. So the establishment and the establishment is behind her. But what was really surprising is that Sanders also had a huge reception from that crowd that you don't expect to really be there for him, because he hasn't been there for the Democratic Party. He isn't a Democratic member of the party. And that's the core that really will, when you're talking to activists, that will remind you of that. We'll say, we've been out fighting in the trenches in the Democratic Party, and where has he been? But even those people in New Hampshire were, really excited about Sanders.
I was at the meeting of the Democratic National Committee in Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the very first time that Bernie Sanders had ever been to a DNC meeting. And yet, again, he got a very good reception there. Hillary was clearly her crowd.
Sure.
But he was well received. In New Hampshire, of course, I'm sure it was even more enthusiastic for him, given that he's right next door and they know him, even though he hasn't been at party headquarters licking envelopes or whatever, stuffing envelopes or licking stamps.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they do that, by the way, at party headquarters anymore, but I don't know what they do at party headquarters these days. But So Bernie, I was going to ask you, Bernie followed, and his message is, well, in fact, we got a little clip from Bernie. We're talking about how things have changed over the last couple of months.
A lot of people did not take our campaign terribly seriously. That's fair to say. But it is also fair to say that in the last 4.5 months, change has taken place.
Yeah, and it has. Surprised
It's almost
the hell out.
Obama-esque the way he
Well,
put that.
it surprised a lot of people, starting with Bernie Sanders.
I think so. I mean, I really do think that's right. I remember talking to him at some point, and he was just, it was in the Senate cafeteria, and he was just saying, we just don't have enough bumper stickers. We don't have enough, and it's a real problem. And we're just way down on bumpers, and it was just so funny to think that the candidate is, kind of was focused on that and was sort of, it came up as a complete non sequitur, but so you could tell it was just sort of on his mind, this like bumper sticker
We
problem.
need more bumper stickers. We're gonna get more bumper stickers.
Right, exactly. So I still think it is hard to imagine the Democratic Party nominating a person who's not a Democrat, or it's still hard for me to fathom that. The same way it's hard for me to fathom, on the Republican side, that Donald Trump ekes out a victory. Although the New York Times is all over the map on that question.
Did you talk to any people, all the people up there at the New Hampshire Democratic Convention, about Vice President Joe Biden?
Oh yes. There was a ride-in with Biden contingent who were there. And one of the women that I talked to, she was she had been a delegate in I think 2012 convention, and she was like clutching a "Ready for Joe" sign that she had been handed by 2 years ago, and she was so excited about it, or 3 years ago, I guess, and she was so excited about it. And she's somebody who said that she would be a Clinton supporter, but I quoted her in a Sunday story I wrote for the Globe. And she was saying Clinton just doesn't have the spark. I mean, she was a white woman in her late 50s who's really should be a strong demographic for Hillary Clinton. And she was just clutching her "Ready for Joe" sign, and she was saying, I don't think that Hillary has a personality, and it shouldn't matter, but it does. And Biden just emotes so much and has the ability to really connect with people, and that's why I just hope he'll get in. But then she was saying, if he doesn't get in, I'm with Hillary.
There's a theme of realness throughout this whole campaign, right? Like Donald Trump, people like him because he's real, or Ben Carson, they like him because he's real, and the same could be said about Bernie. But yeah, Joe Biden, I think, is the realest of them all, right?
No.
Like, talking about unfiltered and wears his heart on the sleeve and just puts it all out there, as evidenced by that the crushing Colbert interview he did like a week ago. Oh my God!
I know.
Just openly talking about grief and really wrestling with the idea of maybe he will run for president.
So,
I don't think I've ever seen a politician do that.
So there's a story, I was just looking for the headline. Here it is on Politico, front page this morning, saying Jill won't stop Joe from running.
Yeah.
Biden 2016. So we had heard before, like in Colbert, his family's not necessarily, and was always saying Jill's not necessarily 100% there or something. Now this story, Jill will not stop Joe from running. This story obviously was leaked. Well, isn't it pretty clear who leaked this story?
Yeah, and
right?
It is. And the other piece of that,
the Biden campaign leaked.
Of course. I mean, there's the. Absolutely. And if you look at, and I've been trying to think of the Biden operation like the way you would judge a boyfriend, like by their actions, not their words. And if you do that, look at what he is doing and look at what she is doing. Her public schedule this week has her speaking to a Democratic group I can look it up on my phone. I can't remember, I want to say it's she's going to be in St. Louis this week giving a big speech to a group of Democrats. And I really want to go to that. I mean, I'm just very curious because that is an action of somebody who is clearly getting ready for a more active role in political
And look where
life.
he's been, And you know what? This week he is going to be, when the Pope Mobile, he'll be in the Pope Mobile. I'm telling you.
He probably will be. He's going to be massaging the Pope's shoulders.
No, he'll be blessing the crowd.
I know.
You watch. He'll probably have a white suit on.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, he's going to be right there with the Pope this week. Yeah, I mean, his schedule has really amped up
Absolutely. And I will say, and sort of this is kind of a DC insider thing, but I'm sure you guys all get the pool reports from the White House. And I have to say the VPOTUS pool reports, the vice president pool reports they've really amped up quite a bit. I mean, it's like the first thing I read when I'm like scanning the White House emails. I'm like, oh, the vice president's pool report. And there's just, you look at his actions and there's just clearly something there. And, it's interesting in New Hampshire this week, Hillary Clinton mentioned Biden, and it was really interesting and really surprising because she hasn't been mentioning the names of her opponents. But a woman asked her about the bankruptcy bill that, as First Lady Hillary Clinton had opposed and played a pivotal role in Bill Clinton vetoing. And then, when the bill came back and Hillary was a senator, she supported it. And anyway, she was asked about this, and she said, that was Joe Biden's bill. She made a point of noting that bill that the Democratic activists don't like was really Joe Biden's bill.
National political reporter for the Boston Globe in studio with us, Annie Linskey. Joe and Hillary and Bernie and Martin O'Malley up in New Hampshire. More on that when we come back. Join us at 866-55-PRESS. Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TawkrTV. That's TAWKR-TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Okay, 11 minutes before the top of the hour. We're going to talk refugees at the top of the hour, the head of an organization that is very much involved on the ground in Lebanon, helping refugees for several years from Syria. Find out how they do it and what lessons it might be there for us and for European countries. Right now, we're talking politics, democratic politics, this half hour. And Linskey has been on the road with the three. We just have Jim Webb didn't show, right?
No, he sent out a big.
So he doesn't exist, basically.
And not in New Hampshire. I don't think he has
didn't
been
come to Minneapolis either for the DNC. So I mean, that weekend he said he had to take his daughter to school.
Wow, I mean, when you're running for president of the United States,
right. You got to show, right? So. But Martin,
Lauren Lessig was there.
Was he?
Yes, I did not see him.
Chafee there?
Though. Yes,
he was.
Lynn
Okay.
was there,
Did he speak?
I did not hear him speak, so I was not there for his.
I'll tell you who else was there, not running for president, but certainly involved. The chair of the Democratic National Committee, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was trying to get a message across, but interrupted by maybe some Martin O'Malley supporters. Here is how that came down.
Trump was at it again. One of his supporters in the audience called President Obama a Muslim. My friends, what's more important, drawing a contrast with Republicans or arguing about debates? Let's focus on our mission and the task at hand.
Oh, my.
What's going on?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
She did not handle that well.
No, I mean, you have this.
They were out shouting her. I mean, she had the microphone. She's got the speakers. You could not hear her.
I mean, the Democratic Party is handling this so badly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievably. I mean, she has her two vice chairs like posting on Facebook that there should be more debates, and she's just
Martin O'Malley, Bernie Sanders have both said there should be more debates.
And those were not just O'Malley supporters screaming. I mean, those are a lot of Sanders people who are asking for that, and you can see why. I mean, look at how much attention the Republicans are getting for their debates. Well, Democrats are kind of hanging out, you know.
Well. You know, I was, again, in Minneapolis when O'Malley made his pitch at the DNC with Debbie Wasserman Schultz sitting right there. It was a pretty ballsy thing of him to do, very dramatic, because she was really, really not happy. And, I mean, the argument he made is building on what you just said. Here are the Republicans out there holding these debates, attacking President Obama, attacking everything, Obamacare and everything. And they're without any Democratic debates, they're basically going unchallenged.
Yeah.
And he's saying, how can we just have silence in face of these debates?
And I watched a Republican debate with a bunch of Hillary activists, and you can just see how no matter what what the Hillary Clinton's campaign is saying, even on her camp, there just seems to be a real desire to see. For Democrats to see some sort of pushback to the ideas that Republicans are putting out there and are like you said, not being challenged at all. And it was unbelievable to see the amount of pushback she's getting.
I have not heard yet a good argument from Debbie Wasserman Schultz about why she and she alone made the decision to hold 6 debates only. Of course, that's what the Clinton people really want. That's what the Clinton campaign wants. They'd have no debates if they could get away with it.
And that's where the front runner. I mean, to her credit, that is where the front runners always are.
Right.
And
but the chair of the party should be out for what's good for the party, not for what's good for Hillary.
And perhaps there's a belief that what's good for Hillary is good for the party, and that's what's going on. I mean, I think. I think the amount of pushback she's getting is going to reverberate, and it makes it. I think she's going to have. She clearly has a lot to answer for on that. I mean, it is, and there's not much you can do at this point, right? I mean, it's now. Can you get another one in? I guess you could get it. You could probably do another one in January, and maybe it will happen. I mean, the amount of pushback that New Hampshire. I mean, that's not just sort of grumbling among. I mean, God bless Martin O'Malley, but he doesn't really have the juice to make this happen. But I think that room full of people that should send a message to her
And she certainly
pretty
didn't handle
clearly.
it well and doesn't have a good answer. Does not have a good answer. So there we go. Hey, Megan. Thank you. Where's that come from? Annie, thank you for coming in. This is really fun. Really fun. Glad to see you. So keep it
thank
up
you.
and keep us up to date.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again soon. I'll be
Sounds
right
good.
back. Tell you what the president's up to today. Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada, the teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you. All right, President Obama, what do you do with the Pope coming later in the week? You take a day off on Monday. Well, he's not exactly taking the day off getting ready for it, but he's got a pretty slow schedule, President, and to get the daily briefing at 10 o'clock, and then the rest of the day, no meetings scheduled. But we have our briefing with Josh Ernest at 12:30.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans of Free Speech TV, listen up here. You know, this is the fall pledge drive. We've told you about it before. We need your help to keep free speech on the air. We are like nobody else out there in the broadcasting business. First of all, we are 24/7, the one and only progressive television network, and we are the only one that has no government support, no corporate support, no Koch brothers support. You are our lifeline. We depend on you, and we need your help for this pledge drive. Again, remember, our goal for the 2 weeks is $282,000. That means for our show, $1,500 a day is what we got to meet. We need your help to get there. And we're so happy to have one of our great fans and loyal supporters here on the line from us from Boston. Hey, Tom, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
All right, good. You're a big fan of Free Speech TV, right?
Yes, sir. I start my day every day watching you guys. You do a fantastic job.
You're a good man. You mean, so you got the Patriots and the Bill Press Show, right? Are they your big...
Yes. What more could you ask for?
There you go. You got it. All right. So you've heard us... You've heard us...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've heard us make the pitch for some help. Can you help us out today?
Yes, sir, I did. And what I'm going to do is, well, needless to say, I'm from Boston, which is also known as the cradle of liberty.
Of course.
Now, the only other city in the Union that can claim that distinction is the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. All right.
And, okay, now, I'm on a railroad pension, but I'd be happy to pledge $120 to Free Speech TV.
Wow.
With the challenge from anyone from our sister city of Philadelphia to match my pledge.
That is great. You know what? First of all, I love sticking it to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have a claim to fame here, right? They have Independence Hall, and that's where the Constitution was written, right? At the Constitutional Convention.
Right.
All right. So your challenge, Tom, and that's very generous of you. Thank you. Your challenge is somebody from Philadelphia to match that contribution, right?
Yes, sir, of $120.
Match that pledge of $120. All right. And I'll tell you what, so we get that person, that person calls, we'll put them on the air, and we'll introduce them to Tom. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking it up a notch. We really love that, all right? And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Bill. Thank
Tom.
you, pal.
Tom from Boston. There he is. All right. You're out there from Philadelphia. Match Tom's pledge of $120. And for the rest of you, remember, if you can help us out, we will help you with some great gifts. For $30, we'll send you a pledge of $30. We'll send you an Eco Journal, Bill Press Show Eco Journal, and a pen set. For $60, this great stamp, people love it. Corporations are not people. You can use it to stamp your checks or letters or kind of whatever. $120, that's $10 a month. A copy of Republic Lost, Lawrence Lessing's great book on campaign finance reform. For $240, $20 a month, you get this. Look at this free speech bear with the free speech 10 buttons. 10 buttons here for all the shows on free speech, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. For $360, you get the whole works. The Free Speech TV Bear, the 10-button set, the stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. So help us as much as you can, and if you can really help with $1,000, get yourself to Washington. That's where we are. Bring a friend. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. Come in the next day, and you can meet the whole team here. That's it. Help us as much as you can for Free Speech TV. Go to that telephone number is 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. And we thank Tom and thank all of you.
I am your toilet, so how do you do? I take away your wee and the odd number 2. For a quiet moment, I'll always be there, bringing you troubles. You don't even have to care. thanks to your Lou. If I wasn't there anymore, you can only imagine disaster. I am a lifesaver, and that is not a lie. Where I don't exist, thousands die. So next time you have to do a poo or a wee, thank the sanitary saints that you have me. When you think of all the things that I do, it's time to say thanks to your Lou. La 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 la. It's time to say thank you to your Lou.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Okay, rev up the Pope Mobile. He is on his way, arriving tomorrow afternoon, and then 2.5 wild days here in Washington before he heads up to New York and to Philadelphia. And they put up the security barriers and the porta potties yesterday at the U.S. Capitol, getting ready for Pope Francis. Hello, everybody. It is Monday, September 21. And we're here in the nation's capital, the Bill Press Show, our studio on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., booming out to you all across this great land of ours, coast to coast, on your local Progresso Talk radio station and on Free Speech TV worldwide. We're there with you on our video stream, youtube.com/TawkrTV. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, we love hearing from you by phone at 866-55-PRESS. Love getting your comments on Twitter at BP Show or on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Again, thanks for joining us and the team here. Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson leading the team.
Here we are.
Hello. With Ray Rogers on the phones. This end of the calls, taking your calls at 866-55-PRESS. And if we're looking good on Free Speech TV and Talker TV, thank our videographer, Cyprian Bolding, for keeping us out there. One of the biggest crises facing the world today, and certainly getting a lot of media attention, is the refugee crisis. 4 or 5 million, count varies, people fleeing the war-torn Syria for Western Europe. And how do we deal with this crisis? What does it all entail? ANERA is an organization that's been dealing with refugees in the Middle East, particularly Palestine and Lebanon, for years. Bill Corcoran is the president and CEO of ANERA, American Near East Refugee Aid, who joins us in studio to tell us all about it. Hello, Bill. Good to see you.
Thanks. Good morning.
Right. Very interesting to hear from your experience what lessons we might learn and what the work about the work you're doing in Lebanon. We'll get right into that. But last night were the Emmy Awards.
Yes, indeed.
And Veep did very well.
Game of Thrones did very well. They set a record.
Huge.
12 Emmys.
Yeah. Maybe the best news of the night, not the biggest news of the night, rather, I should say, is Viola Davis receiving the award for the best actress in a drama series, ABC's How to Get Away with Murder, right?
Yeah.
And becoming the first African-American woman ever to win the Emmy for that award, and she was very emotional accepting.
And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity.
Yeah, very nice. She was given that opportunity, and
she delivered.
Yeah, she sure did. Right.
That's great.
Bill Corcoran here. We'll talk refugees for the first half hour, and then we're going to go to sports with Travis Waldron from Huffington Post. But first,
This is the Full
most
Court
important
Press.
stories of the
Yes, all the big stories. All right, so there is a Republican leadership conference in Mackinac Island.
Yes.
All right, at the end of last week. And there was a bit of a power struggle, literally, that took place between a staffer for Marco Rubio and a staffer for Rand Paul. Rand Paul's chief Michigan strategist is a man by the name of John Yob, or Yob, Y-O-B. And he got into a pushing match and then got punched by a guy by the name of Rich Beeson, who works for Marco Rubio. So they actually literally came to blows over politics. No word on if any charges were being pressed. I don't believe so, but he just took it straight to the press and talked about Marco Rubio's guy punching him in the face. And certainly said that this is getting very heated.
Little tension building up.
Yeah, you could certainly say that. A new Gallup poll takes a look at how the United States sees government corruption. Do we think that the government is corrupt? Yes.
Ours or
our government. Our government. Do Americans see the United States government as corrupt? The answer is yes, in a very big way, actually. 3 in 4 Americans saw the government saw government corruption as, quote, widespread. This figure is up from 2007 and 2009. In 2009, that's the last. That was when it was last higher. Was at highest was 66. It got down a little bit since then, but now we're at 75%.
That's amazing. Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're not talking Guatemala, right?
United States.
Yeah.
United States. How about this guy in San Francisco? He wanted some pizza. So he ordered himself some Domino's pizza. Domino's pizza and wings.
Big mistake.
And, right. Well, it took him a little while to get the pizza. He said he got a little tired, and he said he had a couple beers. And so the pizza showed up. He grabbed a slice of pizza, ate it, put the rest in the fridge. He woke up the next morning and got the wings out, and there was $1,300 in cash inside the wing box. The pizza delivery guy had accidentally gotten the box that they were stashing the cash in to take to the bank and delivered it to this guy. They had no idea what happened. So what would you do in that situation?
You would call Domino's and say, hey, I got money of yours.
That's exactly what this guy did. He called Domino's, gave him the money back, and in return, he gets free Domino's pizza for a year.
That is not a good deal.
That is not a good deal. That is a punishment more than a reward.
That is not right.
But at least he did the right thing.
All right. 12 minutes after the hour. Bill, you're doing the Lord's work, I must say. How long has ANERA been in business first?
We were created after the '68 war between the Arabs and the Israelis, and so about 47 years now. And it just seems like this temporary committee that was established is going to be endless.
But it was a temporary committee established to take care of people displaced by or refugees from that war zone, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And you're still focused on refugees in what countries?
Primarily Gaza, West Bank, and Lebanon. And we're very specialized in that way. But within Lebanon, we're dealing with Lebanese, Palestinians, and now the Syrians, who are about 1.3 million of the Lebanese population, which is only 4 million people to begin with.
So, the 4 million and 1.3 million refugees from Syria, which is, I think I have my geography right, next door.
Right next door.
Right. So that's the easiest place for them to get is Lebanon, I guess, or Jordan, right?
That's been the history, and actually the border was porous. They didn't need a visa or anything to come in. And finally, when it got to 1.3 million, and some others say more than that, finally the Lebanese authorities just said that they had to seal the border. They couldn't absorb it anymore.
So is that sort of explain why we see more of them now heading toward Western Europe because they can't get into Lebanon or Jordan?
That would be partially the point. Yeah, Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey have all had to seal off their borders to incoming refugees to a certain extent. The other part of it, though, and I think this is something that Europe should be more concerned about, is not only are they coming directly from Syria to Europe, but they're also coming from Lebanon through Syria and into Turkey and then across to Europe.
Why leaving Lebanon?
Conditions have deteriorated so badly, and it was the one country where sort of formal refugee camps were not permitted by the Lebanese government. They were afraid that if they set up these camps by the UN or anyone else, that would cause the new Syrian refugees to stay. and they didn't want to give them that sense of permanency, and so it's really a haphazard approach, which isn't working.
Well, first of all, isn't Lebanon, maybe it's changed and I lost track of it, but isn't Lebanon sort of a no man's land? I mean, it's basically anarchy. Is there any legitimate government and stable government in Lebanon?
Well, if you just go to the You Stink campaign in Beirut right now about garbage, that would give you your answer right there. A simple thing like municipal garbage hasn't been picked up in months, and it's really a health hazard now for the people. So they're protesting in a large way against the prime minister and the whole government. But they still don't even have a president after, I think, about 9 or 12 votes in the parliament. So it really is a bit dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. The people get along because they've been used to it. But now when you also have your own concerns and the concerns of 1.3 million other refugees, it is beginning to seem as if it unravels.
All right. So if you say the government will not allow establishment of refugee camps in Lebanon because they're afraid people will come in and then stay there, where do you take care of these people? How many? So of the 1.3 million, again, how many are getting assistance from ANERA in Lebanon?
Well, we'd be working with probably 400,000 or 500,000 in our own.
Whoa.
And
so where? In their apartments or in?
Literally, we're having to go. Some of them have squatted in particular areas, which we would call sort of temporary settlements. So we go there to them. But we end up having to go to a variety of different places. And I'll give you one quick example. We're working with Syrian teenagers who can't read or write. They've been out of school for so long they can't read or write. So we're working with them, and we've had to do it in 65 centers across the northern part of Lebanon. And we're doing that with UNICEF, but it's very inefficient when you have to go to 65 different locations.
They're not all in one place, obviously.
No.
Yeah. And did these people come in since the war, or did some of them came in before the war in Syria? I mean, this is not it's a new phenomenon, but it's been going on for a long time too, right?
Yeah, Syrians were always allowed in as tourists or workers, and so it's very common that they would be there.
But the refugees are fleeing the war zone.
That's
is that right?
Yeah, it's not economic as much as it is fear of violence and retribution.
If they had a choice, would they go back to Syria?
They would like to, but not under these conditions. And then the other question that when we talk to people is, go back to what? We did a census of people in several camps, and we found out that 75% are women and children. Their men are dead, most likely. And on top of that, they know that their homes have been destroyed. So there's really nothing to go back to. And this is the fear that the Lebanese government has, is even if the war ceases, when do they return and what do they return to?
Right. So what lessons can we draw from your experience in Lebanon, or what lessons could Hungary or Germany or Austria or France or any of these Western European countries draw from?
Well, first of all, I think they've got to do it in an organized fashion. They can't repeat what has happened in Lebanon and just let it sort of occur haphazardly. Best thing to do is give them professional services and treat them with dignity. I think the second thing is to realize that this wave of people seems to be more educated and more skilled. And so they may be more easily assimilated into the culture of Europe. But I think the big thing for me is that let's take care of the largest problem, which is still in the Middle East. It's still in Lebanon and Jordan and Turkey. If we don't take care of that, if we allow it to deteriorate further, these people are just going to leave and then go to Europe because they think it's golden.
So when you hook up with these refugees and you reach out to them, and again, I think this is a lesson for Western Europe, but what do they need?
When they come across from Syria into Lebanon, they only come with maybe 1 or 2 suitcases, so they need everything. We've been supplying food, medicine, clothing. We've been working with organizations like Tom's Shoes just to provide shoes for the children. We've been shipping in millions of dollars of medicine. It's across the board. And the biggest thing they need is shelter because there's no place really to live.
How about jobs?
They want jobs, and this is what's disrupting the Lebanese economy, is that according to Lebanese law, Syrians are allowed to work. And so they come in, and they'll be willing to work for anything. And so they underbid the Lebanese population, thus causing a real anger with the Lebanese because it's exacerbating the unemployment in the country.
Schools?
Schools have gone from single shifts to double shifts, but the big problem in absorbing them is that the two systems, exactly. The children in Lebanon are educated often in French or English, and the Syrian children are educated only in Arabic. So as a result, just bringing them into the school and mainstreaming them just isn't that easy.
How many Syrian refugees has Israel taken or is taking?
Israel has taken a few who needed medical care and then released them back into Syria. There's no one who's been allowed to stay permanently.
Their policy is no refugees from Syria, correct?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, and actually that's across the board with refugees in general, that even with the Africans, Eritreans, and Ethiopians who have snuck in, they have been repatriated.
And Arab countries in the Middle East?
Arab countries, that's been minimal also. So that we're really talking about, it's been the West that's received in these refugees.
Why wouldn't the Arab countries take in fellow Arabs?
Good question, Bill. I don't know. It would be, in terms of culture, language, religion, it would be one of the easiest, but that just has not happened.
Right. He is on the front lines, his organization on the front lines with the refugee crisis. They've been there a long time. We can learn a lot from them. The organization is ANERA, ANERA.org, American Near East Refugee Aid. President Bill Corcoran here in studio with us. If you have a question or a comment, real expert here, 866-55-PRESS. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, And then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
American Red Cross and the Ad Council.
This is the Bill Press Show.
At 26 minutes after the hour, big sports weekend. Travis Waldron from Huffington Post will bring us all up to date on it. We're talking refugee and the refugee crisis from an organization that's been at it for a long time, doing great work in Lebanon with refugees, particularly from Syria. The organization is ANERA, American Near East Refugee Aid, ANERA, ANERA.org. Bill Corcoran, President and CEO, in studio with us. So where does your money come from?
It's all across the board, Bill, because we have to just make certain that we don't get dependent on any one source.
Right.
It's a combination of individual donors from the United States who have been very good to us, a number of foundations here, corporations like Aramco and Exxon, Johnson & Johnson, and also we get money from grants, particularly in working with Syrian refugees. We've been partnered with UNICEF and also with UN OCHA. And now the government of Kuwait is helping us out. So,
really?
Yeah. So we really have a wide source.
Is the United States doing its share in the refugee crisis? President Obama, Secretary President Obama said that we're going to take 10,000 Syrian refugees in the next fiscal year, refugees from Syria. John Kerry announced yesterday we're going to up the total number of refugees next year, calendar year, from up to 75,000, and in 2017 up to 100,000. But that's total number of refugees, not all from Syria. So
That's right.
Either with total refugees or Syrian refugees, are we doing our share?
I would like us to see us take in a lot more. We have the capacity here in the country to, through refugee services, to admit them and to assimilate them well. We've got, for instance, when you look at Dearborn and Detroit alone, some of the refugee services that they have there are stellar. So I think we should take a second look at it. Otherwise, I don't know where these people are going to be going, and I don't see the stream of refugees slowing at all. I think it's going to increase, matter of fact.
Into Western Europe, and then some of them maybe even over here. Really?
That's right.
As long as the war is going on, it's not going to slow down.
That's right. And last summer, ANERA was invited to the Carter Center for a sort of a closed-door discussion about the future of Syria. We were told 5 more years.
Whoa. ANERA is the organization, a great organization. Check it out, ANERA.org, and do your share to help this refugee crisis. And Bill Corcoran, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada, the teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we go now at 33 minutes after the hour. It is a Monday, September 21. In fact, so good to see you today. Appreciate your joining us here on the Bill Press Show, live on your local progressive talk radio station. Live on Free Speech TV and live worldwide on our video stream, TawkrTV, youtube.com/Tawker, TAWKRTV. We are brought, hiccups this morning. Brought to you today by the American Federation of Government Employees, the good men and women of the AFGE under President J. David Cox. Taking care of our federal agencies, keeping them running across the land. Proud to work for America every day, you bet. And for more information, you can check out their website at afge.org. Well, we still have Monday Night Football to go, but I want to check up on our FanDuel team here.
Let me tell you something.
How are we doing?
I'm doing, first of all, let's start with the big news.
All right.
I'm doing remarkably well. in our FanDuel Bill Press Listener League.
The FanDuel League?
Yeah. Now, there's still a game tonight.
You were last year, Peter.
I wasn't last.
Week.
Last week, we had over 70 people in our Listener League at FanDuel.com/Bill Press.
Jamie was the winner.
I was at number 4.
The winner.
I was the winner of the team.
No,
this
among
team.
us.
Oh, among us.
Among us. Yeah.
The real story here is our listeners and viewers are kicking our butts.
Well, they're smarter than we are.
But they're
smarter than you are.
That's true.
Sorry.
That's true. I'm currently sitting at what did I say? 6? Am I 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6 out of 25. Jamie is currently at like 22 out of 25.
Yeah, not doing so well this week.
But you still have a game tonight. So
We'll see. I don't know who I have left.
Your tight end I know is playing. That's all I know.
All right. So in FanDuel, not so great this week. Huh?
Look, I'm doing just fine. I'm happy with the 6th place finish. Jamie, however, has to seriously reevaluate his strategy.
And just remember, if you want to challenge our team, right, in our league, FanDuel.com/Peter?
FanDuel.com/Bill Press.
Okay.
Get it there.
That's how you can join our league. I mean, the man, you guys are just as amateurs compared to Travis Waldron. He's
right.
Sports.
There's a reason we didn't let him
champ
know that
of
we
all
were doing
time
this.
here.
Yeah.
That's right. Have you ever? Hey, Travis, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Snuck in here.
Snuck
Good
in.
to see you from Huffington
Thanks
Post.
to Metro. Metro didn't even wait on the Pope to get here to start having all
kinds of
problems. It's in mid-season form.
Oh man,
mid-season form.
Are you a FanDuel guy?
I'm not.
No.
I'm bad at fantasy sports. I'm in a work league. I scored the fewest amount of points in my work league last week.
Man.
But I think I might have the most this week. I don't know.
This is my first. Here's what I will say. This
I
is my
do all this
first
fantasy.
time.
I get wrapped into fantasy. I can't keep up
This is
with
my
it.
first time doing the fantasy thing. And it's like, first of all, you don't really have to watch a ton of football to get the fantasy thing, right? Like, they kind of walk you through it and let you know who's performing and who's not and lead you in that direction. So it's fun in that regard. But at the same time, like, to root for one certain player, right, is so difficult to do.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And then you get in multiple leagues, and then you have to.
God,
then you
yeah,
got one guy going here, but
just hurt
you're
my head.
playing him in the other league. I can't keep up. I just watch it and hope my teams do well.
All right. So, do you have a new spark of hope for the Nats? They won 3 out of 4 against Miami.
No, I don't.
Next question.
What? I mean, you've given up.
Yes.
Oh,
I gave up a long
Travis.
time ago. I don't think so. Not yet.
No.
The path for
Carol
them.
she's keeping hope alive.
The path for them
everyone
is
should keep
very,
hope alive,
very
but
narrow.
it's
very slim.
the margin of error is.
I mean, the Mets would really have to tank,
they would.
wouldn't they?
They would.
Yeah.
It would be historic. But it's the Mets.
That's
What,
right.
they're 8 games back now?
I think
Is that where
so.
we're at? Because the Nats won, Mets lost yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, are the other big sports news? Are you a UFC champ?
I'm not really. No. I can't get into the fight. I'm more of a boxing fan than UFC. But it's interesting. It's it's huge. Everyone loves it these days. Ronda Rousey, she's everywhere.
She's the greatest.
I can't keep up with all that though. It's not really my sport.
How about Danny Mayenas?
Huh?
Do you keep up with him? He was mixing it up the other night, and the British announcers had a little bit of fun keeping up with him. Here's what it sounded like.
Look at the look of intensity on Mayenas. The question is, can Semen get inside Mayenas? Mayenas has got to be careful of the liver kick. This is not where Mayenas wants to be. Mayenas is most comfortable on the ground.
Not a good place for Mayenas to be.
Not a good place for Mayenas to be.
No, it's not. Never is.
I just think
The thing about
Did
that
you think
fighter,
you'd change your name? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of all those names when you got all the most ridiculous names in sports, and I feel like it's a motivator.
Yeah.
You got to do something.
Yeah, to outshine your name
Right.
or something.
It's like a boy named Sue mentality.
Right, exactly. Like Coco Crisp in Major League Baseball. Like once you're named that, you've got to be great.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's a
you
name
can't
of
just-
destiny.
You can't just go sell insurance. Like you've got to be a baseball player or something.
On a more serious note, you and we've talked several times in here about the problem with NFL and concussions and when they were going to finally fess up. We had some news on that recently that's pretty confirms everything you've been saying.
Big on Friday. So
Yeah.
Frontline PBS found, they released results of the latest results from the brain bank up in Boston, and I think it's 96% of the players they tested in this go-round had CTE, which is the brain disease that is thought to be linked to repetitive head trauma and has been found now in, I think, 131 former football players.
Jeez.
Not necessarily all NFL, but guys who played NFL, semi-pro, top college. It's remarkable. It's, it kind of keeps confirming. And, they have all these caveats. They say, well, a lot of these guys are people who thought they had it. So maybe our sample is skewed a little bit, but still, if you're finding it in that many.
It's something like 87 out of 91.
Yeah, I think 87 of 91, I believe.
That's remarkable. That's a remarkable number.
It is, and it's, again, it just keeps raising questions of what are we doing, and can we actually make this safer? I think that's the big question is, can we do it? And I think the question going forward, and the question that I really want to know the answer to is, at what stage? Do you have to, obviously you don't have to make it to the NFL because they've tested it. They found it in guys who didn't make the NFL, but how common is it at that lower stage? Because I think that's the question we have to answer is.
Well, has this always been a problem with football? Is it something to do with new equipment that makes it more likely? Or
Well, no, I think concussions and head injuries have probably always been a problem. We're just now paying attention to it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone, knew. They hadn't found this disease before until, a couple decades ago, maybe a decade ago, and now we're, it's just, there's so much research going into it now. There's so much going on around this, so much talk about it, and we keep learning new things. And I think it's troubling. It has to be troubling. I don't think it's hard for me to say to sit there on Sunday, as much as I loved it, watching football and all, college football too. It's hard to sit there and know this. And I think,
what's the answer short of banning the sport?
I don't know.
And that's not going to happen,
right? No, and it's not going to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and say it should happen. That's not my place. But
go ahead.
I think we have to. I think we have to look at the youth level. And there's been studies that have shown that 12-year-olds, guys who started before 12, have worse. And we've got to figure out at what age people can start doing this.
Didn't President Obama say if he had a son, he wouldn't let him play football?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got 2 kids. They're not going to play football. There's no way. And it's completely, 2 boys, I should say. Neither one of them are going to play football. It's completely impacted the way that I watch football. Those big hits, right, that when I was growing up, they used to have, all kinds of highlight reels of people just getting lit up. Guys knocked flat on their butts.
Right.
You see a couple of people get knocked down and hit really hard these days. I cringe. It's so scary because you know what the results are now. We know what they are. We know. There's this clip that I've seen.
It's not just the guys getting hit; it's the guys who are doing the hitting.
The guys who are doing the hitting.
Right.
There's a clip going around from the college level, from the Ole Miss Alabama game when the Alabama quarterback got blocked into oblivion. I mean, he's just standing there, and this guy just drills him, and the guy hits him, he goes flying, and he hits him with the helmet. I can't even imagine.
I think the big question though is if you look at the PBS result, if you look at the results of this survey, it's now offensive and defensive linemen make up a bulk of the guys, and so the question is it concussions or is it the repetitive hits? And they're starting to think that it's they've been thinking now for a couple of years that it's the repetitive hits. It's the type of offensive and defensive linemen hitting each other on every play, and it doesn't necessarily and it doesn't necessarily have to be concussive. Over time, you're just sitting there kind of pounding on the head over and over again, and it. I think from the NFL's perspective, it's obvious they've got to continue to do better. They say their concussion numbers are down last year, and they might be, but you still have to look at things like Russell Wilson in the NFC Championship and Julian Edelman in the Super Bowl, and wonder how they've got to take care of these guys. They've got to protect these guys, sometimes from themselves.
So this report goes to the NFL. Is that, or just goes out to the public and then?
Well, it's a brain bank up in Boston that they now get some money from the NFL, but they've been studying this for years,
but the responsibility to do anything about it, the burden, if there is a burden, rests on whom? The NFL?
I think it's on everyone. I think it's on the NFL.
right, 'cause it's not just NFL,
I think it's on
college
parents.
and
I think it's on parents to ask the questions of, do I want my kid to do this? Is it safe for my kid to do this? Obviously it's on youth football and youth organizations and the national high school federations and everybody to say, we've got to do something about this, because if it's as big as it is starting to look like, then we can't just sit here.
Travis Waldron here with the latest on CTE in this latest pretty stunning report. Your questions, comments, 866-55-PRESS. Sports with Travis, HuffingtonPost.com.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at Facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To
not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey, Free Speech TV world, it's Mama and the Mooks here at the Stephanie Miller Show.
Hello.
Good morning.
Seinfeld was about nothing. I think the Stephanie Miller Show is about everything.
A little bit
it?
everything.
Yeah, a
It's
little bit.
kind of everything like thrown into a blender and we hit frappe.
Right.
With wine poured in.
Right. Senators, fart jokes, politics, pop culture, entertainment.
Drinking.
Drinking, random stray thoughts. It's what all the hip kids are talking about.
Yep.
We have the smartest, funniest people in the country on this show, do we not?
We absolutely do.
Right?
And our sexy liberal army of callers call in every day to tell us all about it.
There you go. And some right-wingers that Travis particularly enjoys talking to.
They're my favorites.
Okay. You can watch us every weekday from 9 to noon Eastern or 6 to 9 Pacific, which is really early. But we still, we try to, we're still pulling in people like Rob Reiner, Lily Tomlin, Frangela, you name it. You can only get it here at the Stephanie Miller Show. Mama, Mooks, fancy celebrities.
And everything.
And fart jokes.
Free Speech TV.
Tune into Free Speech TV for Democracy Now!, a national, independent, award-winning news program bringing you people and perspectives rarely seen on corporate media.
The most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, 12 minutes now before the top of the hour. It is Monday, September 21. We're talking sports with Travis Waldron, sports reporter for Huffington Post. So you probably have 25 political reporters at Huffington Post and one sports reporter. Is that it? Yeah.
Yes. No, we have a couple in New York too. Though. We have a few in New York.
You do.
So,
okay. Dan's from Chicago. Got a question for you. Hello, Dan. Welcome.
Yes, hi. I work for
television station in Chicago, one of the regional ones, and I did the sports among some things, and what struck me was that in every single game, I was filming, the action, and I kept looking down to the sidelines, and there was a kid carried off every single game. This was in the 60s.
Whoa, yeah. High school you're talking about?
High school, yes.
Yeah, high school. As you were pointing out earlier, Travis, young people, right? This is where it starts. Yeah.
Right. I think that's, in terms of...
Hey, Dan, good to hear from you. Thanks.
In terms of looking at it as like a public health thing.
Yeah.
The NFL needs to deal with it. And, they have employees that they need to take care of. And the same way any occupation does.
But high schools do.
But at the high school, that's where you really... I think the high school, the youth level is where you really start to think of it as more of a public health thing. Of, what are we doing? Is this safe? Should kids be doing this? And how can kids do it safely? And can they do it safely? Those are all the questions that at this point we have to answer. And I think the NFL feels like it has to answer those because that's the long term.
All right, here's another answer. They could be playing soccer, right?
Sure.
Right? A lot safer. There are some injuries in soccer, but still. How about rugby?
I don't know
Or
the numbers
lacrosse.
on rugby in terms of concussions. I know soccer actually has a decent number of concussions, but
soccer?
Yes, but because of heading, and there's been movements to reduce heading in youth soccer, and learn that later. But I think when you look at, that's one of the problems I think going forward for the NFL is if parents start to look at this. There's all kinds of other sports out there, and so the NFL has to approach this somewhat and they have approached it as a business problem as much as a health problem, and but it is a serious concern for their business side, and I think a lot of people would like to see them treat it more as a health thing than a business thing.
When I was in graduate school in Europe, I played one round or game, of rugby. I was that was just brutal.
That's a good way to break a lot of things, not just get a concussion.
It is like free for all.
I can't do all that. I just played baseball, like at minimal contact. I don't need all that.
All right. Football over the weekend, Peter.
Yeah, right here at home. The Kirkskins, I guess we'll call them, because
they're going. Best 1-1 team in the league.
Best 1-1 team in the league.
Shout out Clint Yates.
They look good yesterday, though. They look good. I did watch some of that game.
The Rams are a good team. They just beat the
they
Seahawks.
played very good football.
Now they come up and just knock them right off.
Should
have won week 1 too.
Is that going to carry on through the season?
No,
I have to.
I don't think so. I think they're. Yeah.
I also have to ask you about the disaster of an experiment that the Eagles are, because they lost again yesterday to a not very good Cowboy team.
Did you see one of the back pages in Philly had a picture of the Pope on there, and it just said "While you're here." With the Eagles.
Hit him with the blessing.
Yeah. That division's a mess.
It's a total.
Like with the Cowboys
fire.
The Cowboys are 2-0, but now have no quarterback and their best wide receivers out.
Yeah.
Jason Witten's just going to be standing over in the corner for the next 2 months.
And how'd the University of Alabama do over the weekend?
Come on.
I don't know. I missed it. Peter, can you tell us?
You really going to do this to me?
I just was wondering.
I can't talk because my alma mater lost to the University of Florida for the 29th consecutive year.
Listen to this. Yeah, the disrespect that they show me on this show. The Ole Miss fight song. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Next time that you guys get excited about Ole Miss winning a game, y'all can come in here with your rebel flags that they fly at that stupid game. With all the rebel fans. Yeah, I'm going to turn it into that.
Now you're taking a stance.
I'm going to turn it into that.
Yeah.
Fighting ribs.
Did you ever hear the phrase "poor loser"?
Yes, that's true. I think that hitting your head on the board, of course.
Turn your mic off, Jamie.
What is that? Oh,
Jamie
Hey,
mic on.
sorry.
He turned his mic on to roast me and then forgot to turn it off.
It's okay.
all right.
Thanks for the playoff. You still got a chance.
Yeah, you'll see us again. That's fine.
At least you don't have to
right.
play Kentucky. That might be loss number 2.
All right, boys. Time to move on. Travis, good to see you.
Always
Thanks
a
for coming
pleasure.
in.
Always
All right?
a pleasure.
Enjoy the Pope's visit.
I will.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And the rest of the season, go Nats. Travis Waldron. Huffington Post, HuffingtonPost.com. Back with a parting shot. Here we go, moving into the second week of our pledge drive. And look, we got to make it work this week. To get this thing behind us, we need to raise $230,000 this week. That means for this show, we've been told we have to raise $1,500 every day. You know a way to do that. Let's have 15 of you right now, 15 of you, pick up the phone, go online, and pledge $100. $100 a year? Yeah, $100 for anybody is still a lot of money. But think about that. For $100, that's 1 year's worth of my show, Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, David Packman, and all the other, Ring of Fire, all the other great hosts here on Free Speech TV. That's worth $100 for sure, and we know that you want to do it. We want to keep this great partnership on Free Speech TV going, but the only way we can do so is with your help. So come on, friends, don't put it off any longer. Let's make that pledge today. Step up to the plate today. You know what the TV preachers say? They always say, yeah, you know, you give us whatever you give us, God will reward you tenfold. Well, we're not going to lie to you. I mean, God knows or cares whether you give to Free Speech TV or not, but we do. And to show you our appreciation, here's what we will offer. If you can help us with $30, a pledge of $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set. For $60, think about that, just $5 a month. One of those great stamps. Corporations are not people. A free Speech TV stamp made especially for our listeners and viewers. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great book on campaign finance reform, Republic Lost. For $240, $20 a month, you get the Free Speech TV teddy bear and the Free Speech TV 10-button set, a campaign button for every one of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. For $360, $20 a month, you get the whole enchilada. The teddy bear from Free Speech TV, the Free Speech TV Family 10-button set, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book, and that stamp about corporations are not free people. And biggest, reward of all, if you can afford $1,000 to Free Speech TV, you come to Washington. Let us know when you're coming in. Carol and I will take you and a friend out to dinner, and then you come in the next morning to watch the show and enjoy meeting the entire team. You know how to make your pledge. Again, you got to do it today. We need 15 people to pledge $100 today at 877-378-8669. Or you can go online to freespeech.org. So online, freespeech.org. Telephone, 877-378-8669. Please make your pledge today. We really need your help. Thank you.
The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is the Bill Press Show.
Yeah, you thought there was nobody crazier than Donald Trump? Yes, there is. He's Ben Carson. Quote, I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation, he told Chuck Todd yesterday on Meet the Press. Can you believe it? 55 years after people said we could never have a Catholic like John Kennedy for president. 14 years after September 11. 7 years after we first elected our first African-American president, Ben Carson says, never, never elect a Muslim. That statement in itself should disqualify Ben Carson, because it's not far from there to say we should never elect a Jew or a woman or an LGBT American. We certainly should not elect a black man named Ben Carson. That's my party shot for today, folks. Thanks for being with us. Have a great Monday. Come back and see us again tomorrow.
This is the Bill Press Show.